Hope you had a great weekend. We got lots cooking, and it's one of these days where you come in, you know what you have to talk about because everyone's got an opinion on it, and you're not going to convince anybody other than what they already think. They're not going to convince you of what you already think, but you want to at least give people the platform to discuss what we know is out there. I'll get into it in a second. Good afternoon, Evan. How are you today, kid?
I'm really, really good. Thank you for asking.
Evan had his Whitey Ford moment at Whitey Ford Field. I think that's where you play, at least.
We play at College Point Field, and yes, I pitched and I dominated, and I feel real good about it. I feel real good about
Evan
it.
came in today, ear to ear, smiling, had a little pep in his step, and it's not because the Mets won the series in Colorado.
That's a part of it.
But it's not because the Yankees are trying to figure out what's going on with them on and off the field.
It's a part of it.
It has everything to do with the fact that he came into his adult baseball league after a guy was throwing seeds, and my man, and I got to take his word for it because people would call in and say that he's lying, he got on the pitcher's mound, got induced a fly out to left, and then unbelievably struck two dudes out.
Damn right, and I do have video proof.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Of course I do.
It is what
now,
it
I
is.
gave it to the powers that be, but because I played well, they have been slow as molasses to do anything with it.
I haven't seen it, but I take your word for it.
Thanks,
Listen,
pal.
we all know the big story today, and it's gone on for a couple days now, is this nonsense between the Yankees and the White Sox, more specifically Tim Anderson and Josh Donaldson. And it's always fascinating to me when a old white guy claims racism for something that he's not involved with. And the people that are involved, one black, one white, haven't discussed it being racism at all. So here we are. Guy refers to himself, quite famously in baseball circles apparently, as the next generation's Jackie Robinson. So what do guys do? They bust each other's chops. Whether they like each other or not, we bust balls. That's what men do. Not everyone's very good at it. Not everyone's comfortable with it, but it's what we do. So what appears to be a relatively innocent little, ball-busting moment between a couple guys that don't like each other, in this particular case, Tim Anderson and Josh Donaldson, has now become like the offensive comment that wasn't really offensive. And is he going to be suspended? What? And I can't wrap my head around it.
Josh Donaldson is an S starter.
Yeah, but
That's what he is.
And that's why the Yankees signed him.
Yeah,
because they recognized they were missing a guy like that.
A part of the intrigue of Josh Donaldson when they acquired him was the fact that he's that kind of guy. That he's a guy who starts crap. That he's a guy who's had run-ins before. Now, he's had a lot of run-ins with the Chicago White Sox. I don't expect any Yankee fan to care about that because he wasn't on the Yankees when this was going on. But him and Tim Anderson clearly don't like each other.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. So the number, I take a few things out of this. First of all, I don't believe it was racist.
All right, so can we put that aside?
Yeah.
We agree. Now, listen, I happen to be Caucasian. You're Caucasian. But neither one of us view this story as anything close to being racist.
Craig, to your point.
Like, what are we doing?
The only person that's really said it was racist is Tony La Russa.
Right. An 70-plus-year-old white guy.
Right.
He's the guy claiming racism?
He's the one that brought race into
And I'll tell you
this.
why he said it.
Why did he say it?
I've spent a lot of time contemplating today's show because I knew we were going to have to talk about this.
Right.
And honestly, I'd rather not. It's complete nonsense. There's real racism in the world. This ain't an example
This ain't
of
it. I agree.
Here's what Tony La Russa tried
And I'm
to do.
curious if we're on the same page because I have a theory, too. I have a feeling it could be similar, but let's see.
You want to go first? Go first.
You want me to go
I don't
first?
care. It don't matter to me. Ain't going to change my take. Go.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't know if you know enough to actually have the theory.
Thanks. I appreciate
no,
that.
I'm kidding.
Hey, dummy, you don't know.
I think Tony La Russa was going out of his way to protect his locker room.
Yes.
Tony La Russa is an older guy who's been called out of touch, and at times he looks out of touch. And I think Tony La Russa went out of his way to show his locker room and to show Tim Anderson and show Yasmani Grandal because he's a big part of this story.
Yep.
Yasmani Grandal elevated things, and if I was a White Sox fan, I'd love him, by the way. Because he basically said, you're not getting into the batter's box, you son of a you-know-what.
Yeah, that's right.
I saw what you said. And he pointed at Tim Anderson, and it's effed up. I read his lips. We can all read lips now. It's effed up.
Yeah.
And Donaldson played that. I'm not sure what it is. So I think it was Russa really going out of his way to defend his guy.
Yeah, he tried to take the side of an African-American ball player by claiming that another person in the game was being racist towards him, and I'm not going to stand for it. Yes, that's exactly what he did. He took what happened, he made it nuclear, thinking that he was going to win over. I don't know the situation in Chicago. I'm not going to claim to do, but he'd be viewed from this point forward as a guy who has the backs of black players on his team.
Right.
It was self-serving.
Yeah.
That's all it was, because there ain't nothing racist about it. And, it's troubling to me. We sit here, we're commentators on things that take place. And there are the horrendous examples of racism in sports to this day. We dealt with it, whether you agree with it or not. Certainly your prerogative not to buy into every single story. But we just got off the heels of dealing with it with Brian Flores in the NFL, right? Where you can make a much better case that there are racial tendencies amongst the hiring practices of NFL teams, for example, right? And then someone comes along and decides, let me put the R word on this for whatever the reason might be. You and I are in lockstep on what that reason is. And all that does is minimize, in my opinion, real examples of it, because this ain't one of them. And this is and I'm not defending Josh Donaldson because he happens to be, a douchey kind of guy who pisses a lot of people off. But I will tell you that aspect of his personality is what the Yankees wanted, not against other teams in their own clubhouse.
You want it until it pisses someone off in your room.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if any Yankees pissed off at Josh Donaldson other than maybe Garrett Cole from a year ago, but that's, I think, your worry if you're Aaron Boone. That's why if you're Aaron Boone, you have to be very, very careful about how you talk about this. Not because it's your real opinion, not because you need to defend your guy or rip your guy, but because you've got 25 other guys in your room. And you need to make sure you're on the same page. So while I agree the Yankees needed to inject their team with this kind of personality, there may be a guy or two who says, I'm sick of this freaking drama. How come every time we play the White Sox, and who knows,
Sure.
They haven't even played the Rays yet. Starting Thursday, they will. And I'll give you a spoiler alert. This is not the last time Josh Donaldson's going to be involved in a controversy. There'll be more. Why? Because he's an S starter.
Hey, listen, he started it with Garrett Cole last year. And we all talked about that's the type of personality the Yankees didn't have in their clubhouse. So we went and got the number one guy who caused them grief last year, right? And there's the whole to-do. Can Garrett Cole and Josh Donaldson coexist? And they put that to bed in spring training.
Right.
They got together. We're good.
They're good, and I have no reason to believe the Yankees aren't good right now, but that's the only risk when you have a personality like that. You don't want to have teammates roll their eyes and say, oh, God, there's Josh who's at it again.
And to be fair, this is the first thing that we're at least aware of this particular season where someone would say that, oh, Donaldson's a pain in the ass, Donaldson this, Donaldson that. He's underperforming thus far based on their expectations.
It's been hot lately, though.
Fair enough. And he has not been a pain in anyone's ass in this clubhouse that we're aware of.
But that's why Aaron Boone said the other day, and I thought it was interesting when he said it, that he sat down and spoke with Josh Donaldson, but he didn't do it alone. He had other guys in that room talking as well, because you don't know. Now, they'll never say it publicly, because why would you? But you never know when you have a teammate who's pissed off at you about this.
Yeah, listen, the one thing you don't want to do, and baseball's different in this regard, I think, than other sports is, hey, give the other team a reason to blank, whatever you want to come up with there, right? Mm-hmm. We talk about billboard material. Right. It doesn't play itself to baseball as much as it does necessarily to other sports because of the one-on-one nature of the sport. But listen, they have this controversy now swirling around them. And, oh, by the way, they scored one run in the last 18 innings against the White Sox. And their closer, who has not pitched great, I don't care what his stats are, we've discussed it. Right. Now, allegedly, out of the blue, has an Achilles problem, which didn't exist 48 hours ago.
Here's the other thing that would slightly annoy me. Now, you may see the White Sox again, you may not. We'll see. We'll see what the White Sox turn into if there's a playoff series down the road. But the Yankees were involved in a controversy a few years ago with the Tampa Bay Rays. Aroldis Chapman, Mike Brosseau, Kevin Cash, comments about hitting guys. I got all these arms in my bullpen that'll hit you. And remember how it ended? It ended with Aroldis Chapman losing to Mike Brosseau. He hit the home run that won the divisional series. That guy got the last laugh. Last night at Yankee Stadium, Tim Anderson got the last laugh.
And
he beat
gave
you.
it back to you, and we deserved it. Like, if you're a Yankee fan, you deserved it.
Now, one thing isn't connected with the other, but my point is, I don't like, if I'm a Yankee fan, losing the last laugh. And this is the second time in a couple of years ago where there's some kind of controversy, and it ends with the other guy getting the last laugh. Because ultimately, forget about all the off-the-field stuff and your opinion on this or that. Tim Anderson got to laugh last and laugh the longest.
Yep. I mean, that's it. And there's to me, the Yankees have bigger issues than whether or not Josh Donaldson, said something untoward. He did apologize for it. I think he should be allowed to apologize and move on in this particular case. I don't even know if an apology was warranted, to be honest about it, because I'm not really sure what he's apologizing for.
Here's what he's apologizing for.
He's apologizing for the reaction.
No. He's apologizing for the fact, and I think Liam Hendricks of the White Sox said it best. I give him credit. It's not an inside joke if that guy doesn't like you. I could have an inside joke with you because I think we get along well.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to have an inside joke with Boomer because, as you said, Boomer hates me.
He doesn't like you. Yeah.
Okay.
We spent an hour together today. He doesn't like you.
So I wouldn't have an inside joke with him. So Josh Donaldson is either completely tone deaf with people who like him or don't like.
Let me just play that up for a second.
Go ahead.
Because in theory, that's right, that we're more apt to bust chops with people we like. You don't like Boomer. Boomer doesn't like you.
I actually do.
Well, let's just Boomer don't like you.
Boomer's a jerk.
All right. Yeah. So let's say Boomer went on the air today, and he referred to himself as his generation's Tom Brady.
Right.
That's just for a bad example, right? You're not going to refer to him as Brady at some point?
Yeah, but
jokingly?
No. But
even though you don't like each other?
Josh Donaldson's words weren't, this is trash talk. This isn't Kevin Garnett and Carmelo Anthony. This is Josh Donaldson saying, it's an inside joke. We've been doing it for years.
Guy called himself Jackie Robinson.
It's not an inside joke. No. You're insulting the guy, or you're trash talking the guy.
I don't know how it's insulting. I don't see that part of it. I really think we're going to take calls on it all day. I know how today's going to go. Everybody has an opinion on it. This is one of those rote, talk show radio days where it don't matter what we want to talk about. I know what the audience wants to talk about.
But do you agree that it's not an inside joke if you're not friends with the guy?
Maybe I'm nitpicking
That's
on words
Donaldson's
here.
words, though.
I'm nitpicking this semantically.
Okay. He's trash talking him.
I don't think it's an inside joke either way. He's mocking the
guy.
He's
mocking him.
You think you're Jackie Robinson?
See, Craig, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Stop right there. He's mocking him.
That's it.
So then you can't say, it's an inside joke. You're implying that you guys are boys. You're not. Tim Anderson doesn't like you. Half that locker room doesn't like you. Lucas Giolito doesn't like you. And Yasmani Grandal certainly doesn't like you.
So let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
And maybe offensive's the wrong choice of words, so please don't overanalyze me saying offensive, okay? What's more offensive? A player today making millions and millions of dollars playing baseball, claiming to be the modern-day Jackie Robinson, or the guy that then calls him Jackie?
What am I more offended by?
Offensive is probably not the right word, so I apologize.
Tim Anderson, when he made that comment to SI a few years ago, I thought it was an incredibly dopey comment.
Okay, so we're on the same page on that.
Oh, no, dude, I get it. And it was all in reference to bringing more fun to baseball, which I agree with Tim about. I like Tim Anderson as a player, and I like the fact that he shows a lot of excitement, and I do want more of that in baseball. So I agree with him on 80%. There are just certain guys you should never, ever try to compare yourself to.
Yeah,
do you agree?
With Jackie Robinson, go to Muhammad Ali, and we can keep the list really short.
Yeah, because here's what happens. When someone compares themselves, let's use Muhammad Ali as an example. I don't know if Kyrie Irving ever compared himself to Muhammad Ali, but anytime that comparison...
He didn't. Actually, I think I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, when you say that, it pisses people off.
Yeah.
Now, maybe time will tell us a different story, but it pisses people off because you can't be compared to that.
No.
We're talking about a bigger-than-life figure.
Yeah.
So, yes, if you want to argue or discuss a story from 3 years ago where Tim Anderson made that comment, we can engage in it. It's an old story as far as I'm concerned. But, yes, he shouldn't have said that.
Here's my question. Was it even a story when he said it?
Yes.
Did people react to it like, hey, big guy, relax with the Jackie Robinson comparisons?
A little bit. So, here's the thing.
And I want to say this. I know that, by all accounts, I don't know who Tim Anderson is. I never heard of him until this weekend.
He's a tremendous baseball player.
I know, great shortstop. I get all that.
Free agent at the end of the year, Yankee fans.
Apparently, also is a really good community guy.
Yes.
Like does a lot of stuff with young kids too.
Yeah.
So he does try to put his money where his mouth
Tim
is.
Anderson's a good dude. Like, I've never heard negative things about him, but I do remember when that interview came out, it caused a little bit of controversy, but the reason why maybe you didn't pay attention to it, or a lot of people listening didn't pay attention to it, is because it wasn't a big WFAN sports talk topic.
Right.
It was just like, yeah, he wants to bring fun back to baseball. He said, I consider myself like a modern-day Jackie Robinson. And one thing I also know about Tim Anderson, because I remember seeing this video about a year ago, I think, maybe less than that, where he talked about the importance of Jackie's legacy. So he gets it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a guy who just threw it
He
out
wasn't
there.
being flippant when you're saying.
Because he's shown other times.
But there are still, listen, there are legitimate sacred cows, and Jackie's one of them.
He shouldn't have said it.
Black or white, doesn't matter. I don't think you invoke Jackie Robinson's name or legacy in regards to yourself, especially these days.
Especially
I
in
still think
regards
you
to
do.
having fun and, you know,
Right.
bringing more excitement back to baseball, which, again, I agree with him about, but it was a terrible comparison.
Yeah.
But the point is, if Josh Donaldson is doing that over and over again, he's not doing it as an inside joke. He's doing it to bust his balls.
Yeah.
Let's just call like it is. Let's not play the game that Donaldson tried to play of, hey, it's like
No,
he's
you know
my
what-
friend,
and you know
and
what's
it's an
fair about
inside
that?
joke. Come
When
on.
I first, as we all did, kind of learned about what was going on, you know, hey, the benches are clearing, or what's going on, and it didn't make any sense. When I first heard the story reported over the weekend, my first take, because I didn't know the lack of relationship. I didn't know that there was this tremendous level of dislike from a number of guys on the White Sox towards Donaldson. My initial reaction was, I get it. He's busting his friend's chops.
Right.
Because that's how it was reported.
Right.
You know, inside joke, blah, blah, blah. But here we are. The New York Yankees lose back-to-back games. They score 1 run in 18 innings. They've somehow come up with an Achilles injury now that no one heard anything about ever in regards to Aroldis Chapman. He gives up the 2-run bomb in the ninth. They lose 3-1 prior to yesterday's debacle with it again get shut out. And they've got the allegations of racism swirling around the organization.
They're also, despite this weekend, despite the doubleheader sweep, and despite everything you said, which is mostly accurate, they're 29-12.
Yeah.
Let's just keep that. Take a
17
deep breath.
games over 500.
This was the first series they've lost since the Orioles series, I think about a month ago.
And oh, by the way, they play the Orioles again.
Yes.
So you want to put the losses in your rear view? Okay. Here comes Baltimore.
But I will admit this. Their bullpen, which has been a strength of this team for a very long time, feels different today. It just does. The struggles of Chapman, Chad Green having Tommy John, Jonathan Loizaga looking like a shell of his former self from a year ago.
Yeah.
This bullpen, which I'm not saying is bad by any stretch, it feels different today than I think the way we viewed it 5 days ago.
I think it is different today than it was 5 days ago. And now they're making excuses for a guy that they were counting on to be their all-world closer.
Well, here's my question about that. So Aroldis Chapman and Aaron Boone both said, yeah, dealing with an Achilles thing. Well, what are you going to do about it? Are you shutting him down?
No, can I stop you there?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Because I've been on this Aroldis thing for about a week now.
You have, yes.
Even when his numbers were great, didn't have a blown save, or didn't look right. If he has a legitimate Achilles problem, why is he out there?
Well, yeah.
Because I'm sorry, you can't have it both ways.
Well, that's my question. What are you going to do?
Claim, oh, by the way, he's not pitching well. He can't locate his fastball. He has an Achilles problem. If you've known about it, he shouldn't be pitching.
And if there's ever a time not to pitch, it's in the middle of May when your team's on fire. Like, if there's ever a time to say, hey, let's give him a few weeks off to let this Achilles heal.
And, oh, by the way, King's been unhittable.
Well, until recently.
Yes. I'm saying going into the
No, but the true guy has been unhittable is Clay Holmes. I mean, Clay Holmes, since he's come here a year ago, is like one of the best relievers in baseball. So I agree with you. It's weird to bring it up now. And then the follow-up is, okay, let's accept that he really is dealing with an Achilles issue.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he is, personally, but, you know, who am I to say? It seems like if a guy had a real Achilles problem, you wouldn't put him out there and risk him rupturing the Achilles.
I think,
right?
I disagree to an extent. I think he has something. I think most baseball players have something.
Which Achilles is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, no one knows.
But I
don't think they announced it.
I think he's dealing with something, but most of the time we don't hear about what guys are dealing with. But when a guy starts to struggle like this, and you're a guy with a resume like Chapman, you start to bring it up thinking, even though it never works this way, it'll get some people off his back. It's not. Because all it does is incite more questions about, well, why is he pitching? What are you going to do?
I don't know how you put a guy with a bad Achilles on the mound. I really don't. And I think the answer is quite simple. They didn't.
So they invented it?
Again, you want me to come out and say that Aaron Boone is a bold-faced liar. That's what you want me to say?
No, I'm furthering your question.
Maybe he is. I don't know.
Why don't you text Boone?
The only thing I'll say about this with the Achilles,
Yeah.
of all the things to invent, right? That seems like a pretty unique one.
No, he's probably dealing with it, but because he's struggling now, hey, let's make it public. Why else would you make it public, Craig?
No, I agree. I think he's not been pitching well, so we better come up with something. But the Achilles is so specific, I kind of want to believe it. At the same time, I don't believe it.
I believe it, but it's tough as a fan to care. Your response is, all right, well, then don't pitch. If you're hurt, don't pitch.
Well,
don't hurt the team then.
Yeah,
Makes
that
it
I agree
simple.
with.
If you're hurting the team, and he did when he gave up the home run, then don't play. I got Clay Holmes with a
I can tell you
0.6
this,
ERA.
if you did a poll of Yankee fans today, simple poll, do you trust Aroldis Chapman? The answer is no. And it's like 90-10. The answer is no.
No, how can you?
Nope. The answer is
And
no.
it's more than just this year. It's those big moments. I mentioned the Brousseau moment earlier, the Altuve moment. He's failed in the biggest of moments. So even if he was dominating, Craig, there'd be a lot of Yankee fans who say, I don't trust him.
I see Big Mac coming in with the nice, aggressive peach-colored shirt today. Feeling pretty good
peach.
about yourself. Probably a nice weekend.
I thought of it as orange,
No,
but I
you
guess
got a
it's
little peach.
It fades
Rocking the
to
peach.
white. Yeah, it
But
kind
I
of.
also noticed on your left arm is a COVID mask.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm trying to figure out why that is.
Oh,
Because if
so-
there's something you want to tell us now.
No,
All right? Like, why do you ever, and it's your prerogative.
you haven't noticed it before?
If you want to wear it, I suggest you wear it.
On the subways, I do.
Okay,
the,
got it.
The train, I don't. Subways, I do. If it gets
Got
packed,
it. So
but
that
I carry
is
it with me,
merely for
Right.
indoor mass transit use.
and I leave it on my arm sometimes. Yes.
No, I noticed it. So I just want to know, like, is that your way of telling us without telling us?
No, what I'm taking it is I have to wear a colorful shirt for you to notice me because I've had that on my arm for like I
You've
don't
never
know.
worn that shirt before, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. So you
is that a
notice me.
newbie?
You look at me and you go, "Wow, nice new shirt." Oh, let me look at every aspect of them.
Well-
and suddenly you notice things that have been there for a while.
That is a new shirt, yeah?
Yes.
Well, it looks good.
Thank
Brings
you.
out your eyes.
That
I appreciate
shirt
it.
screams summer. Like it screams
Right?
it as
Right.
loud as
Feels
possible.
like summer.
But
Yeah.
now you can't wear it on Friday, which is the
No.
day it made the
I
most
have-
sense to wear it.
Well, I have. You think I went to the store and bought one summer shirt? Pff, come on.
Unlike me, where I've got two summer shirts.
I figured
I've got
for
a
sure
solid
you wearing
2.5.
a Yankee jersey on Friday.
No,
but
I'm
all
not
right,
wearing a
all
Yankee
good.
jersey. No.
This Friday, what we're alluding to is our live broadcast at DJ's in Belmar. We are having a dating game with Ava Louise, so that'll be exciting. Going to be playing some wiffle ball. We've got live music from the folks at 94.7 The Block on the ones and twos. And Lifespeed will be out there playing live music as well. I may even have to hit the drum set at some point, Evan. So
Oh, you have to.
it's going to be a fantastic afternoon.
We got to hear you on the drums, man. Plus, I'm
No
going to
doubt.
strike your ass out like I did this weekend in baseball.
Okay, Billy.